Elon Musk had been one of the most talked about figures in the world for years. Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, all were products of his brilliant mind. But very few people had noticed why, in recent years, he would completely disappear from the public eye for certain periods. In the last quarter of 2022, Elon vanished from the media for 47 days without any explanation. He didn't tweet, didn't attend meetings. Company reports listed him as on leave, but no one knew where he was. At that time, strange things were happening in a small mountain town in Switzerland. In a small village, there was a man with no social media accounts who avoided having his picture taken and took the same walk at the same time every day. The locals simply called him Mr. Ellis. No one knew where he came from, but everyone kept quiet about him. Some households in the village were receiving regular payments of $10,000 per month from a large foundation. Why? Because those people were obligated not to leak any information to the outside world. The man known as Mr. Ellis was revealed to be Elon Musk when a cybersecurity researcher leaked drone footage. The footage showed Elon living in a small wooden cabin, working on his laptop with only one special program open. Its name, Project Echo. Echo was an AI-powered social life simulation, but it wasn't a game or a test environment. It involved real people, real relationships, and real decisions. Here, Elon observed how people behaved, influenced them, and sometimes intervened. The simulation had been set up in the real world. The entire village was a testing ground, and everyone in it was part of the experiment. Elon wasn't tired of the world. He was simply starting to build a new one. First discovery. Dr. Sarah Chun, an MIT academic specializing in AI ethics, was one of the first to examine the leaked drone footage. What she saw looked like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Elon's cabin resembled a high-tech command center. Dozens of monitors lined the walls, each tracking a different person's life in real time. When Sarah analyzed the footage closely, she realized the faces on the monitors belonged to real people from the village. Shopkeeper Herr Schmidt, teacher Frau Weber, Dr. Heinrich, they were all there. And above each of them were small labels: subject number 23, subject number 41, subject number 07. But the most shocking thing was the application on the tablet in Elon's hands. Under the heading Social Engineering Panel, there were graphs predicting each villager's emotional state, social connections, and future decisions. And at the very top was a large button: Intervene. Life in the village. The small Swiss village of Bergdorf looked like a perfect Alpine town from the outside. With a population of 247, its historic houses, small church, and single cafe made it look like something out of a postcard. But strange events had been occurring among the villagers over the past few months. Herr Schmidt had run the same grocery store for 30 years. But in recent months, products he had never ordered began showing up: exotic fruits, specialty imported coffee, organic goods. Strangely, the villagers started buying these items, as if their tastes had suddenly changed overnight. Teacher Frau Weber had been writing to one of her former students, Marcus, urging him to return to the village. Marcus was a successful engineer in Berlin, but with each letter, he grew more hesitant about staying in the city. In her last letter, Frau Weber wrote, "If you come back here, I have a special project offer for you." She herself didn't even know where that offer had come from. Dr. Heinrich, the village's only doctor, had been noticing strange changes in his patients. People were suddenly talking about symptoms they had never complained of before, especially issues related to technology use, social media addiction, and the stress of modern life. It was as if someone had planted those thoughts in their heads. The hidden observer. Every morning at exactly 7 a.m., Mr. Ellis would leave his cabin and walk the same route. He passed through the village square, paused in front of the grocery store, glanced at the church, and then walked toward the forest. The locals saw him as a quiet, harmless tourist. In reality, Elon was observing the villagers with every step he took. Using a small device in his pocket, he recorded their heart rates, voice tones, and walking patterns. This data was sent directly to Project Echo, where AI algorithms analyzed it. Elon's goal was to fully understand the factors that influenced people's decisions. Which emotional triggers, environmental changes, and social pressures pushed people in certain directions. And more importantly, how could these processes be optimized? The first intervention. Project Echo's first major test took place with a young couple from the village, Anna and Thomas. They both lived in the city but often visited the village. Their relationship had been shaky in recent months and was on the verge of collapse. Elon had tracked their digital footprints, Anna's social media posts, Thomas's credit card purchases, the length of their phone calls. Everything had been analyzed. The AI calculated the exact steps needed to save their relationship. The first intervention was Anna's coincidental meeting with her old-school friend Emma at her favorite cafe in the village. Emma didn't actually live there, but had been brought in by Elon specifically for this purpose. She reminded Anna of Thomas's value and the sacrifices he had made in the past. The second intervention happened during one of Thomas's walks outside the village. He happened to run into an old man named Heinrich in the forest. Heinrich spoke to him about love and relationships with the wisdom of his years. After the conversation, Thomas began to reconsider his feelings for Anna. The third and final intervention placed them both in the village church at the same time. There was a small exhibit, Love Letters Through History. Reading letters from couples of the past made Anna and Thomas realize how small their own problems really were. A week later, the couple got engaged. Elon recorded the success in Project Echo's logs as experiment number 1, successful. Expansion of the system. Encouraged by the success of the first experiment, Elon decided to expand his project. He began making every individual in the village part of a different social experiment. Marcus resigned from his job in Berlin and returned to the village. Frau Weber's coincidental offer had actually been perfectly timed by Elon's AI system. Marcus's financial situation, work stress, and family relationships had been analyzed, and the necessary conditions were created for him to decide to move back. The changes in Herr Schmidt's grocery store were also carefully controlled. Elon had developed a special algorithm to change the villagers' purchasing habits. Based on their emotional states, the algorithm calculated which products they would desire and sent those items to the store in advance. The result was surprising. As people felt their needs were being met, they became happier. The changes Dr. Heinrich noticed in his patients were part of a more complex experiment. Elon was trying to measure the effects of modern life on mental health in real time. Various emotional triggers were being applied to the villagers, and their reactions were being analyzed. Outside intervention. After analyzing the footage, Dr. Sarah Chun understood the gravity of the situation. This wasn't just a technology experiment. It was a social engineering project that interfered with people's free will. Sarah decided to alert the academic community and the media. She published her first article in the Journal of AI Ethics, Project Echo, Artificial Intelligence Against Humanity's Free Will. The piece sparked major debate in the scientific world. Some argued that what Elon was doing was groundbreaking research, while others said it was ethically unacceptable. Sarah's article caught the media's attention. Major news outlets like CNN, BBC, and the New York Times covered the story. Headlines like Elon Musk using real people as test subjects went viral. But the villagers, unaware of any of this, continued their daily lives. Elon's systems had anticipated the external media pressure and prevented the villagers from hearing about it. Their internet connections were filtered, and television broadcasts were controlled. Inner conflict. As Project Echo's success grew, Elon began to experience a strange inner conflict. While he found great satisfaction in controlling people, seeing how predictable they were also unsettled him. Anna and Thomas's story in particular had affected him. Was their love real, or was it the result of his manipulations? This question kept him awake at night. One night, sitting alone in his cabin, Elon thought about his own life. Could it be that he too was under someone else's control? Had the idea to develop Project Echo really come from him, or had other factors pushed him toward it? These thoughts drove him toward paranoia. He began analyzing his own actions, searching for patterns in his daily routines. And indeed, there were patterns. Waking at the same time every morning, walking the same route, drinking the same coffee. Maybe he too was part of an algorithm. An unexpected development. In the 6th month of Project Echo, something completely unexpected happened in the village. Marcus, the young engineer, decided to inspect the village's internet infrastructure out of curiosity, aiming to increase its speed. While checking the village's central internet distribution point, Marcus discovered something unusual. Alongside normal internet traffic, encrypted data packets were being sent to every home. These packets were both collecting data from devices and sending information back to them through secretly installed software. With his background in computer engineering, Marcus began to understand the system's purpose. Everyone in the village was being monitored without their knowledge. Their phones, TVs, even smart home devices were gathering data. More disturbingly, these devices were being used to influence their behavior. Marcus shared his discovery with a few trusted people, Dr. Heinrich, Frau Weber, and Herr Schmidt. Initially, they were shocked. But as they thought back, they realized all the coincidences in recent months hadn't been coincidences at all. The beginning of resistance. Once the villagers learned the truth, they felt anger and betrayal. Discovering that the decisions they'd made for decades had actually been the result of manipulation led them to question their very identities. After assessing the medical and ethical aspects of the situation, Dr. Heinrich realized the villagers' psychological state was critical. Some had fallen into depression, others were showing paranoid behavior. For Anna and Thomas, the situation was especially tragic. They could no longer be sure if their love was real. As a teacher, Frau Weber took a more strategic approach. She organized the villagers and began planning how to fight back against Project Echo. Their first goal was to disable Elon's system. With Marcus's technical expertise, the villagers began acting in secret. They cut internet connections, disabled smart devices, and even tried communicating with the outside world using old-fashioned radios. Elon's reaction. Elon noticed the systemic changes in the village immediately. Data flow had been cut, and one by one his monitors went dark. At first, he thought it was a technical glitch, but soon he realized the truth. The villagers were taking action against him. This made Elon both angry and excited. The anger came from months of work being jeopardized. The excitement came from watching in real time how people organized themselves against the system. This could be a new phase of Project Echo. Elon tried to predict the villagers' resistance plans. The AI systems analyzed each villager's personality profile and calculated their likely behaviors. The results were surprising. The villagers were showing far more organizational skill than expected. This discovery gave Elon a new idea. Maybe the true success of Project Echo wasn't controlling people, but revealing their capacity to resist. The final confrontation. The tension between the villagers and Elon kept escalating. After discovering his identity, the villagers decided to confront him directly. Led by Dr. Heinrich, they organized a meeting in the village square and invited Mr. Ellis to attend. Elon considered not showing up, but his identity as a scientist made him want to see the outcome of the experiment. When he arrived, the entire village was waiting for him. Dr. Heinrich turned to him and spoke. Mr. Ellis, or should I say, Elon Musk. We know who you are and what you've done. You've used us as test subjects. Elon decided to drop the mask. Yes, I'm Elon Musk. And yes, I've observed you. But I wasn't trying to harm you. I was trying to understand human nature. Herr Schmidt interrupted angrily. You deceived us. You influenced our decisions. Even Anna and Thomas's love is the result of your manipulation. Elon replied calmly. I didn't interfere with their feelings. I only arranged the circumstances that brought them together. Their love is real. Philosophical debate. The discussion in the village square began to take on a philosophical tone. Elon started defending his views on human free will. You all believe you have free will, but your decisions are always influenced by your environment, advertising, social pressure, your emotional state. I just organized these influences in a more scientific way. Frau Weber countered from an educational perspective, but you did it in secret. We didn't consent. If you had consented, the experiment wouldn't have produced real results, Elon replied. There's something called the Hawthorne effect. When people know they're being observed, they don't behave naturally. Marcus asked from a technical standpoint, so what happens now? Will you continue your project? The decision. After listening to the villagers' questions, Elon fell into deep thought. The purpose of Project Echo was to understand human behavioral patterns. But now, before him, was something he had never anticipated. People who had detected his manipulation and challenged him. This situation had given him the most valuable data of all. How strongly could people resist being controlled? Could they set aside individual interests and organize a collective movement? And most importantly, after learning the truth, how would they act? Elon looked at the villagers. Each face showed a different emotion: anger, disappointment, curiosity, fear. But they all shared one thing: the search for answers. I want to make you an offer, Elon said. I'm ending Project Echo, but I want to use what I've learned here for the benefit of humanity, researching social media manipulation, advertising ethics, AI-human relationships. Would you like to work on that with me? A new beginning. The villagers discussed Elon's offer at length. Some said they would never trust him again. Others felt that what they had experienced could be valuable for humanity. In the end, Dr. Heinrich spoke on behalf of the village. If this collaboration is completely transparent, if our consent is obtained at every step, and if the results are shared with everyone, we might consider it. Elon agreed. Project Echo transformed from a secret experiment into an open research project. The small Swiss village of Bergdorf became the world's first ethical social research center. Anna and Thomas overcame their crisis and got married. During his wedding speech, Thomas said, "I don't know if our love was real or not, but what we feel now is definitely real." Marcus decided to stay in the village and became the technical director of the new research center. Frau Weber became the head of the ethics committee. Herr Schmidt took charge of the village's economic development. Epilogue. 1 year later, the Bergdorf Research Center had become a globally recognized institution. Social media companies, advertising agencies, and governments came there to learn about ethical boundaries. Elon Musk no longer hid. He returned to the world and resumed running his companies. But what he learned from Project Echo changed his entire approach. At Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink, the human factor became the top priority. When Dr. Sarah Chun visited Bergdorf, she was surprised. The project she had once criticized had transformed into a research center benefiting humanity. Sometimes wrong beginnings can lead to the right outcomes, she told the villagers. In the end, the small Swiss village of Bergdorf earned a permanent place on the world map, not just for its beautiful scenery, but for its work in seeking balance between humanity and technology. And every morning, Elon Musk still asked himself, are there hidden forces controlling me today? As long as he kept asking that question, he believed his free will remained intact. The story ends here, but the questions remain. How can we balance technology and human freedom? What is the difference between manipulation and guidance? And most importantly, are we truly acting freely, or are we being guided by factors we don't even notice?